Hello and welcome back to Boring Dead Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more of the Roottrees Are Dead. Let's continue. Head into our apartment. Now I did notice actually when I sort of zoomed out after recording the last episode, you can actually click on some stuff around our apartment here. I don't know quite what function it serves, but why don't we start off with a little bit of that. Got Riot Girl. Yep, that's a poster. What have we got? The Notorious Montjoys. Okay. Anyone here I recognise? No. Is the honest answer to that. What we got here? Mystery Comics. Okay. Ooh, that's our front door. Do a lot there right now. How do I can't move around on WASD. How do I hit escape? Oh, I hit escape and that kind of recenters me. Okay, what's this thing? Oh, this is my evidence desk. Okay. Or beanbag. Little teddy. Right, let's remind ourselves kind of what the aim for at least the beginning of this episode is going to be. So I kind of made a little bit of headway into the miracle root tree last time. We don't know who my miracle root tree the first married. Actually, let me turn the music down a little bit. Let me turn the music down a little bit. Seems very loud to me. Right. Yes. So, I think the first thing to do is to search Michael Roottrees Jr. and see what that throws up on the old 1998 internet here. You find a website for the Miracle Network. Now, is this is kind of what we saw before. So we saw the flyer. Now what was the youngest one called? Oh yeah, Miracle Roottree Third. If that brings anything up. It might just be the same thing. Oops. That's the same thing. Okay, is there anything else in this flyer that stands out? Now, we didn't know there were two Nicoles this could have been. So we'll have to sort of see, kind of whittle that one down maybe at a later point. Is this just going to be a dead end for now? Now, we don't know who his second child was. This is the unknown Nicole. Let's look at my notes. Was there anything on any of these guys here? Miracle Roottree, Miracle Network. Why do we search for that? It's the same thing. Roottrees Estate. It's going to be the same thing again, isn't it? No. Now, we know... I don't know if the dates will come into play at some point, but we know that he was 68 at the time of the disaster, and he's 14 years younger than his next younger sibling. I guess we'll just keep that in mind for now. We do have like 23 years later and stuff. About regaining his sight might become relevant later. Okay. I'm not sure what else to search for on that front right now. So why do we come out of there? Why don't we go to... Let's look at our list of notables, actually, and see who else there was. So we've got a gold star by this person here. And that is... Now, it could be Jim, because we know that Jim was cousin to Carl, which makes sense here. And it could also be this one, or this one, obviously, as well. But he had a second cousin, didn't he? If I look at my notes, Ernie Jr., Carl's second cousin, who was president, which suggests he was probably the eldest of that line then, if he was president. Or does it? I don't know. Second cousin. What is that? What is second cousin? Oh, I don't know what second cousin kind of means. Okay, so... What are these crosses? Oh, they split up. So we know that Jim had a daughter the same age as Raina, who was the eldest of Carl. So that is probably... Well, we don't know her name, but that's going to be a daughter. So I think this is Jim. Because the child thing doesn't quite work out there. I don't think... What is this? Don't forget. Family trees use surnames from birth, even if the person changed their last name after marriage. Okay, always use a person's most recent occupation. That might be where I'm going wrong with the farmer thing up here. Because she inherited a farm, but I think obviously... She probably didn't remain a farmer up until her death. So we might have to come back for that. I didn't really sort of see a suggestion yet of what that could be. But I'm going to go for Jim in here for now, as a working hypothesis. Presume that's James. Now, under name, can I just put... I'll put unknown female, because I'm pretty sure that's a girl. So let's look up James Roottree then. A singer, well that pans. In fact, I'll try and remember that for the corkboard next time we're there. Who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife Diamond LaRue. The duo, according to many sources you find, is considered a one-hit wonder due to the disco song Rollin' On Down to the City. It's now in our evidence folder. Although Jim writes the majority of songs, plays the guitar and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but has its fans who refer to themselves as Diamond's Dazzlers. The rest of the music is more folksy and acoustic than the one song they were known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release music throughout the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you find mentioned are Cherry Tree and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse and hasn't made a public appearance since 1996. Okay, well, we've got some stuff to add here then. So he is a singer. Singer isn't on our list, so what else do we have? Musician, maybe? That seems to be the closest thing to it anyway. Where's it gone? We had LaRue, under L maybe? Diamond LaRue, there we go. Diamond LaRue. Let's have a look at, so we got some more evidence, so let's have a look at that. Aha! So we have Jim, Diamond there. What have we got here? Only the great-grandson of Elias Roottrees could make disco this sweet. It was barely a top 20 hit for a few weeks in 1979. According to the liner notes, it satirises how a part of society was content to remain indifferent to economic inflation and civil unrest in the Mideast, unless pop culture tricked them into caring. Somewhat ironically, listeners didn't seem to pay attention to the lyrics enough to trick them into caring. Instead, most of its play came from roller discos. Because it was such a product of its time, it doesn't get much play anymore, even on stations that play oldies. This image is from an auction for a sealed copy. It has a sticker on it that says, yeah, so we read that. Don't know if that name will become relevant at some point. Music and lyrics by Jim Roottrees, vocals by Jim Roottrees and Diamond LaRue. It's on. Okay, so we've got the lyrics. Contain no clues. Okay, well, let's not read all those right now. We'll come back to that. But we can certainly add their pictures to our notice board. So there was nothing there regarding children, apart from unknown female. I might have a look. Let's have a quick look through the lyrics. Actually, I don't know if maybe there's something that relates to children's names potentially. Yeah, I can see why it made it at the roller discos. Okay, so great-grandson. Let's just check that seems right. Son, grandson, great-grandson. Yeah, that works. Now, what did it say? I still don't know his... I don't think I know his occupation yet, even though I've put CEO. What is the definition of a second cousin? That is Jim. And that would be the second cousin? But we know, no, because we know that Jim is on the notables list, and that's the only other cousin who is. Okay, well, let's try and fill in the other notables. So we've got... Now, why is this boxed off? Okay, well, let's... why don't we Google Marguerite Roottrees and see if anything comes up. Not a lot about his children, was there, Elias? So, again, on the notables list. We just keep moving down. So we could look into Gwyn. Okay, let's start off with these notables and see if that leads into anything. Did I spell that wrong? Oh, how do you spell it? Oh, without the E. You find some information on a website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. Not very organised, search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine, okay. Gwyn is a somewhat well-known actress. Oh. So I kind of assumed that was a male name. So actually, if we go back... Yeah, I think that still works, because Gwendolyn isn't a notable, whereas Gwyn is. So I still think... this could be Gwyn. And it also said something about the 1950s. Well-known actress. active in the 50s, often appeared in tabloids, la la la. Her biggest role was the minor movie hit Guys Like Us. Left Hollywood after a flop. A widely circulated picture of Gwyn from behind the scenes of one of her movies, which you've added to evidence. Okay. Gwyn was the granddaughter of Elias Rootree, so I think we're in the right tier on the family tree. She shouldn't have been named Rootree, but her father took her mother's famous name. Okay, so her Rootree parent was female. Which makes sense because we've got Marguerite here. So I think this is Gwyn. That's probably her picture, but let's go with this first. Gwyn was an actor. I guess that's her picture. Oh no, that's not, is it? So it's this one. Yeah, okay. We'll just do that. Back to the board, so it's this one. Okay. Like, I think this is right. We don't know spouse yet, although it seems like they did split up. We could search those movies, so Guys Like Us and Christmas Mission. Uh, 53, two secretaries cut their hair short and pose as businessmen to get ahead in life until one of them falls in love with their client and hilarity ensues, starring Gwyn Rootree, Leslie Florence and Harrison Lane. So I'm wondering if maybe her husband would have been a co-star? Title is a play on words. It could be read that the two women are men similar to other men, or that the men are fond of them. Oh, I see. Guys Like Us. Yeah. Let's try Christmas Mission. A page called Flops. War movie, released in 55. Poor reviews. Soldier's wife. No additional information. The movie was marketed as an incredible true story, but no record of the events happening has ever been found. Okay, I think I might have tapped that out for now. Who else do we have on the notables list? We've got Red Rootree. Try that. Aloysius Herring Rootree, aka Red, was an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname ironically because he was the ambassador to Ireland for only about 6 days. He served what some people contend is the shortest term in history. A few days after he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position and the Irish people. He then tried to run for state senate. He claimed to be related to the Rootree Candy Company in a newspaper ad, but it came out that the last name was merely a coincidence, and he was defeated in a landslide. Oh, so he's on the family tree as a notable. Interesting. Where are our other notables then? I wonder if he might be adopted there, but that's not noted. That's not down as a notable. Like, I've got all the notables here now. I can't see any other stars. Okay, let's see who's next on the list. Probably... Oh, that's a red herring. Okay, that's marked through. Let's try Lauren then. Author Lauren Rootree, a distant relative of the Rootree sisters, is known for her book A Life Between Wars. According to a website about famous authors in the early 1960s, Lauren released a few romance novels under her married name, Lauren Rafferty. Okay. So she married someone Rafferty, to little fanfare. When a publisher learned she had been keeping diaries about her famous family, they insisted she release them under her original name, Lauren Rootree, to take advantage of her family's notoriety. The selection of diary entries released in '65 as A Life Between Wars spans from the untimely death of her husband in World War II to coping with the post-war world as a young widow and mother, as well as her perspectives on changing times and socialites all the way through the entry into Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it has found a new life as an exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style and for a look into life in previous generations. After the success of her diaries, her publisher re-released her romance novels under the name Lauren Roottrees. This included Romance in Court, she followed the re-release, 2 new sequels, the Court Jester series, listed as retired. The distant relative, where does it say that? Distant relative of the Roottrees sisters. Well, we could look up her books, perhaps, in the public library. A Life Between Wars. Seems you've hit the jackpot here. This is a book occasionally taught in schools. You even find a hardcover edition for students that has full-length, high-quality pictures in it. A summary of the contents of the book photos, as well as some particularly relevant entries from the diary have been added. Nice. Okay, well, let's quickly go back. Look at the other ones. Okay, so these ones were released under her maiden name. Romance in Court, Court Jester. Oh, here we go. Inspiration from one of her brother Clancy's lectures on the Middle Ages. So that is useful info. Let's put, there we go. And what was the other one? Court Jester. Alright, so nothing helpful there, but it sounds like we've got some good evidence here. So let's have a look at what we've dug up. Oh, okay, we've got a nice photo here. Okay, Lauren's diary contains some labelled pictures. This is the 5 pieces. So these are the children of Elias then. I imagine that's Miracle there. He did say something about losing his sight, or regaining his sight, didn't he? So you'd imagine that's probably him. Caption, this picture was famous in our house. Pop even had it framed. That's him on the left. Oh, okay, so that's Elias then. Elias and his wife, presumably. Why is it called the 5 pieces? It was taken in 1935 to celebrate the move to the new warehouse that Eli Jr. designed. Well, I think we knew that he was an architect. Angie and I both wanted to be in the photo since Miracle was in it and the 3 of us were all about the same age. We were told only the 5 pieces, which really didn't go over well, to say the least. Eventually, I suppose, to stop the tantrums, they posed us in front of the camera with Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendolyn. Him? What? I found out years later they never even took a second photo. Oh, they posed us, but they never took that photo. Okay, so if we add these faces, I don't know if that one in the background means anything. Well, it might do. I've taken it anyway. Now we have this one. Lauren's diary contains some labelled pictures. This is the next generation. Caption, an attempt to recapture the spirit of the 5 pieces photo with our generation. For old time's sake, we gathered on the warehouse floor. I wanted Eli to stand tall all the way on the left, since to me he looked a lot like Pop did in the old one. But I was outvoted by my brothers. Okay, so that's not him. They insisted the 4 of us stand together, and so we clumped up in the middle and let everyone filter in behind and in front of us. Okay. The only one too good to make an appearance was Gwyn. Okay, so Gwyn is not in this photo. Grandma insisted we include Sam, even if we didn't want to. None of us understood why, including Sam. I also didn't think it fair Miracle made it in, since he's technically a 5-piece. I guess my inner child still holds a grudge even after all these years. Okay, well let's grab these faces. I imagine this is Lauren. As they said, these ones look like they're clumped up in the middle, don't they? Oof, okay. Let's look at this. A life between wars. Okay, so this is her husband, and that's her. Lauren Roottrees captures the evolution in perspective from adolescence to adulthood. The below are notes and observations you made while skimming through Lauren Roottrees' diary pages. Lauren Roottrees is on the notable list. Well, we know that. Book was published in 1965. La 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 la. The most important event that much of the diary and Lauren's thoughts revolve around was the loss of her husband, Jacob. Well, we know Jacob... I'd have to look up her original publishing name. Jacob died in the final months of World War II while Lauren was pregnant. This left her to raise her son, Clark, alone. Lauren never remarried and only had one child. Okay, we'll check if that makes sense on what we've got so far. You glean the following info. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Okay. Her mother's family was called the Cursals, but she hardly ever mentions them. Her father, who she always refers to as Pop, was the head lawyer for the Roottrees Candy Company and helped her write a legal document called the Clansid Trust. We heard of that last time. It's something to do with making sure any blood relatives get the inheritance, I think. It's clear from context that the Roottrees have internal shorthand names for the different generations of their family. Lauren uses them often. 5 pieces. The first generation of children by Gwyneth and Elias. Lauren's father was in this generation. The next generation is Lauren's. The Free Spirit's the generation after Lauren's, including her son. So, son Clark, husband Jacob. I think we're going to have to refer back to this a little bit. But where did I have Lauren? She was the... I think she must be this one. Yeah, those are the 5 pieces, so she's not in there. Oh, let me just go back. On her father's side. Well, that makes sense, because we've got Elias C there. Bearing in mind that she only had one child... Mind you, where is that? She could be James's mom, I suppose. Oh, no, we've got a notable here. Oh, okay, I bet that's her then. I didn't see that gold star before. Maybe the gold stars only appear once you've looked them up. Or maybe I'm just not very observant. Well, in that case, I think that's her. So we'll put in Lauren Roottrees, and she was an author. And we have a Jacob, and I've forgotten his second name. I think it was towards this end of the... Jacob Rafferty, that was it. Jacob Rafferty, and if we do... yeah, so that looks like the same woman. So let's put in her original photo. Well done. We're up to 6. We have locked James, Lauren, and Gwyn. And we've got some spouses kind of signed off as well. Cool.
You're on a roll. I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes. But I unearthed a photo from a 1970s Roottrees reunion. I also found some important-looking papers. You've traced 9 blood relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
Okay, well, we were still kind of working down this, so we've got photos to pin as well. So it was him, and that was her second photo. I'll check. I can't remember the son's name. I think it was Clark. Clark. There we go. Her mother's family name was the Cursals, so that could be useful as well. So that's probably Sarah Cursal. And then we've got Clark Roottrees. Was he a Rafferty? I guess it's Clark Rafferty. Maybe we'll find out why he took his father's... Well, no, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that was her pen name, Roottrees, wasn't it? That was her married name, so that makes sense. Okay, there's quite a lot else to unpack in all the evidence that we've got. I guess we'll have a look. So something's happened on here. This is just the story so far. Yeah. There's still something in here apparently. I don't know why that's still highlighted as new, but anyway, let's see what's here. Woof, Stephanie Jones. Okay, this was buried under a ton of other mail that Carl left in his inbox. It had oh yeah, Carl was the one I still haven't got the job for. It had a handwritten note attached that seemed personal. It is a flyer about a candidate for local office, Stephanie Jones. On the back is an excerpt from a newspaper article from the Butler County Times about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but in her words, it was still full of love. And now, 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for voters is simply love is our future. Handwritten, says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflicts spread to the next generations. CM. Okay, let's grab the photos. So someone who was kind of around the same time as Carl. Our differences. Just this split up, remarried, etc. This just sounds like this is probably the unconventional thing they're talking about, or possibly the adoption. I don't know. Although this seems more distant, this part of the tree. So I'm wondering if we're looking at this offshoot here. Anyway, let's keep going. CM. Have I got anyone on my name list who could be CM? Could be Caroline Morden. So these Mordens, I'm wondering, because I didn't find anything on Gwendoline Roottrees, but what if this is the Mordens line? What if I look up Gwendoline Morden? Oh well, just an idea. It's an unusual name, so I think that probably is the same person. I wonder if there was a name. If I look up her co-stars again, so we've got Leslie Florence and Harrison Lane. I wonder if they appear on the list of names. There's no Harrison Lane. What was the other one? Leslie something, wasn't it? Florence. Oops. No, I'm not seeing it. There's a Patricia Jones. I didn't see a Stephanie Jones. Anywho, yeah. This could be an equally sort of described as an unconventional upbringing, I think. Like you've got the splitting up, then you've got the adoption thing. And that would kind of fall in what I think is going to be the Morden line. Now, who have we got up here? This is Elias. So these are going to be Roottrees down here. This line also. Anyway, we've got lots more evidence to look at. Okay, it's another photo. A note attached from your employer. Here's a bonus. When I pulled the water damage picture of the free spirits out of the frame, this fell out too. Written on the back is, couldn't make the reunion. Wishing you well from Paris. Gwyn and the boys. Okay, well that's Gwyn. We know Gwyn. Film school. This photo has a note attached. Every 20 or so years, the Roottrees would hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is the one from the 70s, and Carl's the teenager in the middle. Him. Sorry about the water damage, a pipe burst. It says November on the back. There are also a large number of cursive signatures, including Bonnie, next president Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwyneth M., Gwendoline, Miracle Jr., Jim Roottree, Clark, Carl, and Eli M. Goodness me. Okay, well let's... grab all of those. So this is the generation after the... I forget what the middle one was called, but the third generation down was the Free Spirits. This photo was tucked inside an envelope with a letter beneath a candle in the corner of his office. It says, to Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry that you were unable to attend the funeral. It's traditional to have it as soon as possible, and Ernie, more than anyone else on Earth, knew how busy your job can be. I've enclosed a Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay your respects, although it's not expected for those outside of the faith to do so. Ernie... okay, so... so Ernie, I think, has died. A Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay your respects. It's not expected. Okay. So I think this is from one of the miracles. Ernie was a man full of love not only for his family but for his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you three did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. Much love, Debbie. As for myself, it is impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills. Though we caught it too late for him to get on the donor list, the company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations. It went unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust, and it was no coincidence that it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could never have done that without the two of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie. Okay, yeah, so this is related to this side. Now, remind me where Nicole was here. Ernie. Second cousin. What did I say about a second cousin? Carl's second cousin. So I think he's there. And that makes sense to me. So this is going to be Ernie no, that's the photo. Ernie Jr. Okay, probably has a different surname then, so let's look under... just under Ernie. Actually, I can... Ernest. Ernie Jr., so that makes sense. And it also makes sense that that would be Ernie Sr. He was a president. I don't know which one he was. Not the first and not the last. Maybe, probably second, third or fourth. I'll put third in for now. I'm pretty sure this has got to be a president. So he would have been the one after whatever Ernie was. I noticed that's ticked up to 9 now. I don't know if... oh no, that's the same. I mean, he might well have been the last one. I'm going to put it in, and I'll put Ernie as fourth. I don't know what's going on here at all. There's a lot of info to pass. Debbie, Ernie and I had to stay strong for Nicole's sake. And there is a second Nicole, so I'm not sure who that's relating to. But I'm wondering, is there a Deborah Roottrees? No. Deborah Bean. Okay, well that's not going to be her. Could be his wife though, because we know I mean that kind of makes sense. I don't quite get the link. Could only have been that one. Second cousin. It wasn't necessarily, well, Ernie or Ernie Jr. I'm not so sure about that one anymore. Now I'm wondering if this is Ernie Senior. So actually I should take out that as well. Because it would have made sense for them to... Like it's on the religious side, and it would have made sense about Nicole, and I think this is a Debbie. I think that might be Deborah Bean. I think this is Ernest Senior. But does that make sense? That doesn't make sense, does it? Unless he married in. And that would be Ern Jr. Why would he be a president? Yeah, Ernie Jr. is the second cousin. So maybe that is here. I mean, just because they're not in this tree doesn't mean that they're not religious. Why did I choose that name there again? I can't even think now. I'm going to empty it again. Debbie. And there is another Nicole, so... Who is the other Nicole? Madsen. Well, that would make sense, because we've got a Deborah Madsen as well. And a Gwyneth. Was it Deborah? Was it Ernie Madsen? It's Ernie Madsen. So what if... I don't know if I have enough to make an educated guess here on this moment. Okay, Gwyn and the boys. Well, we've got Gwyn, so... So which was the free spirits? These were the free spirits, weren't they? Oh, the next generation. So these were the free spirits. '70s makes sense. So coming out of Gwyn, we have... Okay, so they split up, but they did have 2 children. We don't know the names, but I think they were probably the boys in that... Oh god, everyone's got a '70s face. Oh, it's these 2, isn't it? So I'm not sure who's the eldest. But let's just put them in there for now. Yeah, so I think it was a mum and her sons in that photo. Yeesh, this is tricky. This is tricky stuff. Let's go back to this one. So, Pop on the left. This was Lauren's dad. So I go back to where Lauren was. So this would be Elias. Would he be the second president, maybe? Pop it in for now. The new warehouse that Eli Jr. designed. Have I got Eli Jr. on my thing? Eli, that's got to be Eli Jr., isn't it? So there was one who was an architect, so I think that is him. I don't know if he's in that photo. Angie and I wanted to be in it. Okay, so the 5... That could be someone in the background. Could he be the architect? Or could he be Mr. Morden? Like, he's one who seems to be... He's not supposed to be in the photo, but kind of is. So these are the 5 original children. We know... can't remember his name, but we've got his photo in. Miracle. So these have got to be the other 3 children. I think that might be Mr. Morden and Gwendolyn. Now that does, if he was there with her, that does suggest that they were, because I did speculate that this was kind of going to be the Morden tree, didn't I? Well, I think James Morden Now, as to which one of the two women she is, I don't know. So, we got Elias Jr., who is probably the other, like, older man in the photo. Him. Now these two are closer in age, that makes me think that maybe they would have stood together. Plus she's blonde and her daughter is blonde. Whereas this woman had quite dark hair. Let's we could maybe look into James Morden. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and Miracle is that one. So I think those are the 5 originals. The 2 women might swap, but I think that plays out. This is Lauren. Angie in age. They're about the same age. Who was Angie? Don't know. Somewhere there's another cousin. Ooh, okay. This is a bit mad. I mean, we think those are the miracles, don't we? Like, I think... probably that one. He might have been retired. Is there a retired? Really other LaRues on our list of names. Yeah, we got a Jane and a Kim. And nothing under the men. So those have got to be the two daughters here. Now obviously I don't know which one's the elder and which one's the younger, so I'm just going to have to make a guess on that. So I think I'll probably leave it there for today. Again, made a few inroads. It's going to be one of those ones where you're kind of chipping away at it, though, I think. This one bothers me because I haven't had anything to suggest what she did later in life after... I mean, was she... I tried Housewife, that didn't fit. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, we'll try and make a little more progress next time as well. But thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, if you could hit that like button, that'd be fantastic. Do leave a comment as well. Let me know what you think about the game so far. Like I said in the first one, it kind of reminds me a little bit of something like... I mean, two games it reminds me of really is that the Golden Idol and also Obra Dinn, in that you're really kind of digging down deep into clues, trying to put names to faces to and back again. It is interesting. It's quite tough. I'm having to expend a lot of grey matter on this one, but that's a good thing. There's also something here. What is that? Oh. Kind of looked like there was something sticking off the edge of this table, but I don't think it's relevant right now. Anywho, but yeah, as I said, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about things so far, and if you're watching this and not yet subscribed to the channel, if you could do that as well, that'd be fantastic. So thanks very much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.